Welcome back. Here we go with our final aspect from our overview of the champion's mindset. And it's the bottom left here where we get into the topic of compassion. As I do this, once again, last time, flip over to your guide slash workbook and we can walk you through this and get you working on those exercises as well. So let's talk about at itself, or at the root, what the actual definition of compassion is. It's a feeling or showing concern for someone who is sick, hurt, poor, or having or showing compassion in general. Now, think about an example of employers. This is a really, really interesting case. Employers who show compassion for their employees are generally more successful. There's been studies where you look at companies that implement a on-site daycare facility, on-site health and fitness facility, where they truly show that they care about the well-being of their employees. If you can take your kids to work and drop them off in the building next door and even go see your kids at lunch, how do you think that will affect your productivity and the relationship that you have with your employer? And of course, you know what the answer is. Not only will it create a better relationship, it boosts productivity, and at the same time, it reduces stress. There are so many different ways that when you show compassion for people, it will come back not only to pay you, but it will make you feel better. There have been measurable studies that show that you feel a genuine increase in your mood and in your health when you show compassion towards others. And even Plato said, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. And of course, a great example is Mother Teresa showing ultimate compassion. She's a modern day saint who identified and offered compassion to people who were unloved and destitute themselves. She lived from 1910 to 1997 and voluntarily lived a life in poverty so she could be of service to the poor. Mother Teresa grew up with her mother. Her father died suddenly when she was 8 years old. Her mother always opened her home to the destitute people in their town. They were always invited to come to dinner at their home. She taught her daughter well and told her, my child, never eat a single mouthful unless you are sharing it with others. After questioning her mother about who these people were, she was told, some of them are our relations, but all of them are our people. So the point here is that to have a champion's mindset, it's not just about taking responsibility. It's not just about being fearless or any of the other traits we've talked about as well. It ultimately comes down to some of the more basic human characteristics like compassion, showing compassion for your fellow man, showing compassion for the people that you work with, for your teammates, all of the above. One problem that often blocks our ability to be compassionate is being able to put ourselves in others' shoes. When we find ourselves feeling sorry for someone, like sympathy, we aren't always able to relate or recognize the emotions that are being experienced by others. That's also called empathy. When we are able to really recognize the pain of others, it's easier to be compassionate. So what we want to do is give you an exercise. And in this exercise, it's pretty simple, but it might not be easy, so to speak. And it should include some kind of emotion. But it's all about increasing your capacity for empathy, and it's going to be worth it. So you go through a couple of different steps in the guide, and you'll see this. First, imagine something terrible happened to a loved one. Nothing fatal, but a horrible problem that they must deal with. Write it down. In as great detail as you can, write down the pain and suffering they are going through. The key to this exercise is to do it often, using a wide variety of scenarios. In fact, you could carve a little time into each day to do this. If you continue to do this, it will make feeling empathy second nature to you. It's not about negative thinking, it's about embracing the feeling of empathy towards others. Another common exercise to develop compassion is about commonalities. You can easily recognize the differences between yourself and others, but making an effort to recognize the similarities can actually help build compassion. So we've given you an exercise to find similarities with people that you dislike. Left side of the chart or left side of the table, you list people you don't like. It could be real life, celebrities, politicians, whatever. And then on the right hand side of the page, you're going to write down what you may have in common with them. This simple exercise will help you relate with people on a more internal level. You won't be so quick to recognize differences. You will actually program your mind to look for similarities. And when you can recognize that all humans have something in common with you, you will naturally feel more compassionate. And that is the final step in achieving a champion's mindset.